Good morning, ma'am. So, I am Ayan Toledo, the reporter of Global Perspective. So, when we say global perspective is a global perspective is a interconnected world system which is understanding how things connected across the borders and also the cultures and how the and also how the corner of the world fits into the whole. So, example ang sabot ani kung sige unsa pag ay unsa pagka connected mga 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 true global ang mga borders and also the cultures. So natay lima ka book an importance of global perspective. So number one is the reaching new markets. So ang sabot ani it is understanding the cultural nuances and also the behavior of the customer sa different regions. So it can be expand and also maabot ito sa wider through the customer base. So this also can boost 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 the sales of the business and also their brand recognition. The second one is empathy and cultural awareness. So when we say cultural awareness, it also seeing the world through different lenses. You also gain a better understanding of different culture values. This fosters empathy and helps you avoid the misunderstanding when we are interacting people from different backgrounds. So, better decision making. It also a global perspective equips to analyze the situations from a multiple perspective of this crucial and also for making these informed decisions when choosing or or whether in your personal life or career and citizen. The next one is adapting your marketing mix. Adapting marketing mix and also a traditional marketing mix which is a product, price, place, and promotion. So, it also flexible in a global context. It also features a product, pricing strategies, distribution channels, and also event promotional to suit different markets. Muna siya, nang siya apat ka P which is product, price, place, promotion. Muna siya ang need nato aron ma-adapt nato sa ato ang markets. So the last one is the innovation and creativity. It also exposure to device ideas and also perspective can spark creativity and lead to more innovative solution to problems. So ang pasabot ani mo ni siya ang one. When we say innovation, so kung nag-exist na product ato lang innovate gamay. So pag magbuhat ay mo siya creativity ato ang pagbuhat sa matong mga sa na to pag sa tong product. So pervasive impact of culture on education behavior. So natay upat ka buok which is the number one is the communication style. So when we say communication styles is the different cultures having varying communications like cultures and also the assertiveness of valued. So while uh, while while others prioritize indirect communication and building rapport, so this can lead misunderstanding if not understood. So kung kinahanglan jud kabalo to sa sa cultures sa lang style sa communication, so we could understand each other. So wala tay conflict metabo. So number one is second one is the value system. So when we say value system, ano siya naga pa ng cultures place different values on the things like time, money, and relationships. This can affect priorities during negotiations and what concessions are considered acceptable. So mo na siya ang ano naga ay mo na siya mga values sa mga butang like sa oras, sa kwarta o so sa kanang mga relationship. So mo na siya negotiation na maka-affect sa ato mga priorities. And number 3 is the decision making. So ang disabo naman decision making no. So mo na siya ang cultures of different decision making structures. Some may be more hierarchical, requiring approval from higher ups, while others may be more collaborative. This can emphasize the pace and flexibility of the decisions. So kung may nang decision making sa tuwa dyan ang the way we choose or think before we pick we decide to choose what we gonna do. So kinahanglan jud nato mag una bago mo pili sa o mo go sa to mga decision sa ato ang mga negotiation. So dili ta so we can avoid the failure decisions. So number 4 is emotions. Cultures have different ways of expressing and dealing with emotions. Understanding this can help avoid causing offense or misinterpreting the other party's signal. So pasabot anim, if we understand people's emotion or also value their feelings, so we could avoid causing offense sa atong mga kaistorya or atong mga nakatubang. Application for managers in negotiation. Number 1 is preparation and team building. So the importance of negotiation skills is strong negotiation skills are crucial for managers to secure favorable deals with clients, suppliers, and partners. This translate to increase revenue, cost savings, and building strong business relationships. For individual career and advancement, negotiation skills are essential for advocating for yourself in terms of salary, benefits, and job rules. So importante yun siya ang negotiation skill kay for managers. Kung manager ka, makasecure jud ka sa sa deals sa atong clients, sa suppliers and partners. So and also we could build a strong business relationship. So we could have essential for our salaries. So team selection, choosing the right team for the negotiation is vital. Consider expertise, communication styles, and cultural awareness if dealing with international partners. So kinahanglan jud nato mapili og tarong nga partner na grupo aron kinahanglan nato i-balance nilang cultural also their background para magkasinabot mo nga grupo. So negotiation process, planning and strategy. Clearly defined goals in a well thought out negotiation strategy are essential. This includes our BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So understanding the other party as well. So kinahanglan jud nato kasinabot or may balaan ang both side aron walay conflict may tabo. So communication and relationship building. Effective communication, both verbal and non-verbal, is key to building trust and rapport with other side. Negotiations should strive for win-win solution whenever possible. So moto ingon ako, kinahanglan gyud nato magkasinabtanay sa both parties kay para walay conflict o walay ma-win lose. So pareha ta daog o natay nindot na solutions to our communication. So additional consideration, ethical conduct. Negotiation should be conducted ethically and with integrity. And last one is cultural awareness. In globalized business world, being aware of cultural differences in negotiation style is important for success. So sabot ang cultural awareness mo na siya ang kinahanglan jud nato mabalan ang mga culture through group globalization and also their differences kay kung mag-negotiate man ta puhon-puhon kuan mo ni siya ang importante kay para makabot na to ang gusto maabot o ma-success ta. So the last one is negotiators with an interest in customers. So number one, we have five here list. Number one is the active listening. So pasabot sa active listening is also attentively listen to the customer concern and needs, understand the perspective. So kinalan jud nato may ibalan ilang needs or demand, also their perspective to our business. Then empathy, it also put themselves in customer shoes and understand their motivation. So kinalan jud nato may balan ilang their fitting size ilang shoes understand para aron may balan nato or masabtan nato ilang motivation. So strong communication skills, they can clearly communicate the value proposition of their product or service and tailor their message to the customer's needs. So para clear na to ang strong communication skill kinahanglan jud nato aron may bala na to ang ang value sa ilang proposition and also the tailor's message para sa ato ang product or service sa ato ang customer needs. So the fourth one is the problem solving skills. They can work collaboratively with the customer to find creative solutions that meet both parties needs. So mo tayo na ko ganyan na kinahanglan din nato maki-collaborate sa customer. So we can create solutions through their problems and to meet their needs sa both parties. Then the last one is the relationship building. So they focus on building trust and rapport with the customer. So kinahanglan jud nato ang relationship building aron natay makabuild ta trust through our both parties and also the rapport sa ato ang customers. So that's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hanijin Ramos, and my topic is all about cultural differences. First is what is cultural differences. It is the variation in costumes, belief, behavior, and social practices between different groups of people. These differences can be vast and encompass everything from what people wear and eat to how they greet each other and conduct businesses. So cultural differences cause four kind of problem in international business negotiation at the level of first is language, next is non-verbal behavior, next is value, and the last one is thinking and decision processes. Difference in language and non-verbal behavior. Language and non-verbal behavior are both crucial aspects of communication, but they function in distinct way. First is language. It is verbal communication uses spoken or written words to convey thought, ideas, and feelings. Language have specific grammars, rules, vocabulary, and syntax that need to be learned. And also, language is muna siya ang lahi-lahi nato. Isa siya sa nakahata og problema because naaman jud tay tagsa-tagsa na language. Example, sa Philippines itself, daghang tag language panag sa dili ta magkasinabot due to dili nato ma-express og tarong kay lahi-lahi man ta og istorya or lahi-lahi ta og language na ginagamit. Example pod ana like sa to Filipino. Atong language is kanang Filipino, while sa Chinese is ilaha po dito lahi po. So in that nanay problema because dili na magkasinabot. Non-verbal behavior uses cues beside words including facial expression, body language, tone of voice, posture, or gesture, and even silence. So non-verbal communication, it's muna siya ang non-verbal communication is unspoken tools used to express thought and feelings, typically done so through facial expression, body language, gesture, and eye contact. So example, no, like dili man jud nato like example na kana imuhang kaistorya is lahi iyang pagsabot sa iyang gesture, but sa imuha pod lahi imuhang pagsabot sa iyang gesture. In that magka-problema na mo ana through eye contact. Example, pag eye contact ninyo lahi pag tan-aw nimo sa iyang face is tan-aw nimo na suko pero sa iyang normal ra na siya. So isa na siya sa problema sa business or sa organization. So differences in values. So objectivity, American make decision based upon the bottom line and on cold hard facts. American don't play favorites, economic and performance, not people. So differences in value is disagreement or conflict arising from divergent belief or principle that individual or a group holds about different beliefs. In the example in the workplace, na ay mga tagsa-tagsang value ay kanang values differences like na ay mga tagsa-tagsang culture or lahi-lahi ang pagtuo. So in that sa values is na siya sa kana siya na kay na isa na siya sa problema na ginaharap sa organization. Next is difference in thinking and decision-making process. So thinking, it is a process processing information, reasoning, creativity, and critical thinking. Decision-making is the process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolution. So thinking it is looking for hidden values, evaluating, and assessing multiple conclusion. While ang decision-making, it is an action. It is a process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative solution. So ang decision-making is how you assess the problem or kung unsa ang dapat mo buhaton para ma-solusyonan ang problema na naa sa inyohang organization. Na diri mo ni sila ang type of decision making, identifying the decision, gathering relevant information, identifying the alternatives and choose among alternatives, and the last one is to take action kung unsa na imong dapat buhaton para ma-assess na problema. That's all. Thank you.
The negotiation orientations framework, defining the dimensions. Basic concept of negotiation is distributive versus integrative. Distributive perspective, the assumption of underlying distributive bargaining strategies is that one party gains at expense of other. The negotiation is in terms of a relationship to all aspect and parties. Kibali sa mga source nimo is parang ano lang siya, like na boundaries and limited solutions or mutual. And then the integrative is mutual for all gain or isa siya sa mga mutual na pakinabang, and then create also a solution for all resources and aspects. And then the distributive is only source or in only limited sources and individual interest to all independent parties. Most significant type of issue, task versus relationship. Negotiators with a task frame focus on specific issues and having to do with the project and hand and view these issues. And also with the relationship, frame view task-related issues as being inseparable from the relationship. Task versus relationship. The task is also like practical and direct. Kibali, ano lang siya, like being professional for all parties and resources. Wala na siya kanang daghan pang ginaagiat kundi specific lang sa mga tasks and roles. And then sa relationship is building trust and respect. Selection of negotiators, abilities versus status. Selection of negotiators refers to the criteria used to select members of the negotiating team. The abilities define multitask and skills or sa mga tao nga like kung asa kaya ilang abilidad and kung ahataman ang ilahang skills nga maabot ug mabuhat. And then sa status is specific and relate to others based on their status. Kung asa lang sila og ahalang ilang roles is diha lang sila ginabutang. Influence of individual aspirations, individualist versus collectivist. They give priority to the goals of the collective. From this, we can describe the collectivists as strongly identifying with being loyal to their organization. Individualist versus collectivist is nasa basic or specific lang na definition, which is individualist is independent, then ang collectivist is dependable. Decision making process, independent versus majority role. Internal decision making process refers to the matter in which a negotiating team reaches decision, a range of decision making behaviors where either one person on the team has authority to make decision. Independent versus majority role. Sa independent is naga-define lang siya is for being independent, and then sa majority role is with all resources or with related to support to decide or to make decision making.
The next is 14.4.6. Risk-taking propensity. Risk-averse versus risk-tolerant. When we say risk-averse, is a risk-averse investor who is an investor who prefers lower return with known risk rather than higher returns with unknown risk. In other words, among various investments giving the same return with different level of risk, these investors always prefers the alternative with least interest. When we say risk averse or risk aversion, this is the type of investor ang goal nila is least investment ay ang least investment return sa ilahang ang moabot, then ang ilang way of investment is lower return than the higher return nga unknown risk. So risk taker sila pero dili sila ingon nga risk og dako. And next is, what is risk tolerance or tolerance? Risk tolerance is the degree of risk that an investor is willing to endure given the volatility in the value of an investment. An important component in investing, risk tolerance often determines the type and amount of investment that an individual chooses. When we say risk tolerance, in the word of tolerant or tolerance, the investors is tolerant in different kinds of business that he may or she made an investment. So pasabotan is wala siya labot if ang risk niya is dako. At least ang iya lang is kung usa ang gi-choose nila at least man lang kay ma-return ang investment niya. And next is basis of trust. External to the parties versus internal to the relationship. When we say external to the parties, negotiator with this viewpoint trusts the other party because a contract has been negotiated and agreed to, which can be litigated and enforced. The legal system and the governmental agencies are viewed as providing an adequate, reliable, and effective underpinning for commercial transaction. When we say external to the parties, this negotiation is a typical or ingon na nato nga module ni siya ang legal nga pag-process. There's witnesses, for example is contract, na siya witnesses, then sa contract is naka-base siya sa gagayad siya sa law, kung unsa inyong nasabutan, then there's a witness nga lawyer or the other parties. So reliable siya sa tanan nga businesses kay bali mao ni siya ang basis sa kasunduan. And next is internal to the relationship. Negotiators with this frame trust the other party because they have invested in a relationship that has been built up for over a time, and they believe that the other party is committed to it. The relationship between the parties is what matters. The contact is simply a symbol of the bond between the parties who drafted it. Internal to the relationship. When we say internal to the relationship is apil ang time ani. When we say bond is pasabot ani niya is dugay na ang mismong negotiate nila na, for example, friends nga nagbuhat og negosyo, for example pod is cooperative nga close nimo between the families. So ang both of the parties nagatrust na sa each other nga bisag dili na ingon nga need pa nila i-force ilang self nga mag-invest invest dire, invest sa lain. Sila is nagatrust na sa ilang mga kapartido kay tungod sa ilang band nga na build up through over a time. So pasabot pa murag ang taga usa sa ilaha kay nagatrust na sa ilang kaugalingon nga ang both parties kay nagakommit na ana nga businesses.
What is formal communication? Formal communication is communication through predefined channels set by organizations. It is backed by organizational procedure, and it is necessary to fulfill the goals of the organization. Formal communication is used in professional and academic settings to provide information and discuss topics in a structured and organized manner. It typically involves the use of more formal language than informal communication, using terms and concepts that are specific to the subject being discussed. Formal communication is often used to convey information in an efficient way. It is also used to maintain a level of professionalism among the participants. Informal communication is more relational than formal. Informal communication is defined as the type of communication that takes place between two or more parties in a casual and unstructured manner, and it is often characterized by the use of informal language. It is not backed by any predetermined channels and can happen anywhere within the organization. Since it is not defined by any channels, messaging moves a lot faster, but it is without any paper trail or official documentation. Informal communication is often used to build relationships and facilitate conversations in social settings and can be beneficial when developing new ideas or resolving conflicts. The primary goal of this type of communication is to preserve and establish relationships with colleagues. Group-based communication is a common form of informal communication in a workplace. How does formal communication differ from informal communication? So, formal communication is the exchange of information between two or more individuals in a structured and professional manner. It is often used in the workplace or any environment where there is a need for clear and organized communication. In contrast, informal communication is more relaxed, open, and casual. It allows for freedom of expression, as it does not require the same level of structure and etiquette as formal communication. Both forms of communication are important for different scenarios, depending on the context and the message being conveyed. When do we use formal communication? So, formal communication is typically used in business and professional settings such as an emails, presentation, or other written documents. It is also used when communicating with people outside of one's organization, such as clients and customers. Formal communication can help create a professional image as well as demonstrate respect for the recipient. It is often characterized by using precise language and avoiding slang or colloquialisms. Formal communication should be written with clarity and conciseness in order to ensure an accurate understanding of the message being conveyed. When do we use informal communication? So, informal communication is used in many different scenarios, including casual conversations between friends or colleagues. This type of communication is often more relaxed and informal than formal communication, and it does not follow the same strict guidelines that formal communication does. Informal communication gives us the freedom to express ourselves more openly and honestly. Without worrying about making mistakes, it can help to build stronger relationships and foster an atmosphere of trust and understanding. When to use formal or informal communication? So, understanding the difference between formal and informal communication is key. Formal communication should be used in a professional setting such as making a business proposal or submitting a report. In contrast, informal communication is best used in more relaxed settings with friends and colleagues. What is the purpose of formal communication? Formal communication is the essential part of any professional settings, such as it allows for clear, concise, and structured communication between individuals. It is used to convey specific information such as instructions, policies, or procedures, and is generally done in a more formalized manner than informal communication. It also provides a sense of order and structure to workplace interaction and helps to maintain a professional atmosphere. Formal communication can take many forms, including written documents, emails, phones, calls, or face-to-face conversations. When it is used properly, formal communication can be an effective tool for conveying important information in a professional setting. So, what are examples of formal communication? So, example of a formal communication include business, emails, memos, reports, letters, presentation, and formal meetings. And then, examples of informal communication so include conversation between friends and colleagues. First is text messages, emails, social media posts, phone calls, informal face-to-face for interactions. Low context. Low context communication relies heavily on explicit verbal communication rather than unspoken cues or shared understanding. In low context cultures or communication styles, the emphasis is on clarity, precision, and directness in conveying messages. This approach is common in North America, Northern Europe, and other cultures where information is expected to be detailed and complete, leaving little room for interpretation or assumptions. So, some objectives of low context include clarity, is ensuring that messages are easily understood and leave no room for ambiguity. precision, striving for accuracy and specificity in communication to convey information effectively. And the last is directness, communicating in a straightforward manner without relying on subtle hints or unspoken implications. So, high context. High context cultures prioritize implicit communication, relying on context, nonverbal cues, and relationship to convey messages. Some objectives of high context include building and maintaining strong relationships based on trust and mutual understanding, and preserving harmony in groups by avoiding direct confrontation and valuing subtlety, and fostering a sense of community and interconnectedness, and respecting tradition, hierarchy, and collective identity. So the differences in high context and low context communication styles. So the differences in high context and low context communication styles across cultures influence the way people perceive information for a multinational organization. It is essential to know the difference between high and low context cultures in order to communicate effectively and avoid making embarrassing or offensive mistakes. A full understanding of these differences will effectively improve both outward client focus communication as well as inter-business relationships.
Hi everyone, I'm Shirley Samena Valles and I'll be the one to report the nature's altruism, factual, inductive versus affective. So these assumptions cover the types of evidence negotiators who use to develop persuasive arguments after an extensive review of the literatures in philosophy, cultures, and argumentations. This entails the priority of persuasive arguments in a bipolar relations with factual, inductive, and affective as endpoints. So, factual inductive reasoning, it involves drawing conclusions based on a specific observations or evidence. It relies on gathering information and making generalizations about patterns or trends observed in data. This type of reasoning doesn't guarantee certainty but aims to make the most probable inference based on the available evidence. Next is the affective. So when we say affective reasoning, it involves drawing conclusions or making decisions based on the emotions, feelings, or personal values rather than solely or logical or factual considerations. It often involves subjective judgments and can influence behavior, preferences, and attitude. Next is form of agreement, explicit contract versus implicit agreement. So when we say implicit contract, is a legally binding agreement where all terms and conditions are clearly stated, leaving no rooms for ambiguity or misunderstanding. It can be either written or verbal, but is generally recommended to have important agreements documented in writing to ensure clarity and enforceability. For example, of the implicit contract could be a lease agreements for renting an apartment. In this contract, all terms and conditions regarding this rental, such as the durations of lease and monthly rent amount, rules for maintenance and repairs, and conditions for terminating a lease are clearly stated and agreed upon by both the landlord and the tenant. So next is implicit agreement. When we say implicit agreement, also known as the implied contract, it legally binding agreement interfered from the actions, conduct, or circumstances of the parties involved rather than implicitly stated in writing or verbally. For example, when you order the food at a restaurant, there is an implicit agreement that you'll pay for the meal in exchange for receiving it, even though it's not implicitly discussed. So the difference between the explicit contract and implicit. So the difference of explicit contracts and implicit agreements. Explicit agreements contract involve clearly defined terms and conditions agreed upon by all parties, while the implicit agreements are interfered from actions or circumstances and may not be legally enforceable or clear-cut. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. So for the last topic that we are going to discuss is all about EDI. EDI stands for Electronic Data Interchange. Electronic data interchange is a system which allows business to share data and information electronically rather than manually without other businesses, entities, trading partners using a standardized messaging format. So, in other terms, EDI is like a digital language that allows business in different countries to talk to each other and exchange important documents like orders and invoices using computers. The main idea of EDI is to make communication and transactions smoother and faster. So I will give you one example sa unsa joy pasabot sa EDI. So for example, nag-order ka og product from another country. So to make the transaction easier, using EDI, mas mapadali ang inyong transaction, like smooth ang inyong communication kay from this company to your company. They are going to communicate using only electronic. Unlike atong uban na mga businesses, naga-communicate gyapon sila using papers, like na mga papeles na papirmahan paingon anak nga company. So using EDI, mas mapadali ang inyong business transactions, like sa computer na lang mo naga-communicate or sa panadraan na mga inventions. So here are some benefits nganong ginahimo nato here are some benefits why EDI was made of. So first is, we can using EDI, we can have a faster transaction. Second, improve data access. Third is greater accuracy. Next, more efficiency, better security and compliance, cost saving, flexibility. Next slide are going to illustrate or mura siya og model sa EDI. So naingon dito as what I have researched is from EDI is known siya sa word na from business to business. So here is the example: buyers to supplier or suppliers to buyers. So from buyer, mag-purchase siya og order paingon sa supplier, and then si supplier maglista na siya or what we call this invoice na na-record na niya ang gipangayo sa buyer. So after sa supplier mag-invoice, balik na pod siya sa buyer, which is iyang i-inform ang buyer na ang katong iyang order is recorded na. So ready to shipping na. That would be all, and thank you.
So let's tackle about global e-marketing. So what is global marketing? Global e-marketing. So global e-marketing stands for electronic marketing. It threads the technical and graphical aspects of online tools together, allowing for design, advertising, brand development, promotion, and sales. So it is all about using electronic tools like website, social media, and email to promote and sell products or services worldwide. So it's like taking traditional marketing methods and making them work online. So there are benefits of global e-marketing. The first one is global reach and access to varying demographics. So here, you can connect with people all over the world, reaching different kinds of customers. The second one is can be more cost effective than traditional marketing techniques. So in here, it can be cheaper than traditional marketing, so which often involves things like printing flyers or running TV ads. And then, a website is a 24/7 shopping destination. So the website is always open for business, so people can shop anytime, day or night. And then website content can be entertaining and interactive. So you can make your website fun and engaging for visitors, keeping them interested in your brand. So information and the ability to purchase in the one place. So nasa convenience. Customers can find all the information they need and make purchases without leaving your website. And then, if we have
benefits, there are also factors influencing strategy creation. So the first one is diversity of regulation. So here, different countries have different rules about what's allowed in marketing. So you have to follow those rules. And then the second one is infrastructure. So here, not every place has the same level of internet or transportation infrastructure, so which can affect how you reach customers. And then the third one is geographical distance. Here, you have to consider how far away your customers are and how that affects things like shipping and communication. Then the fourth one is language. So you need to speak the language of your customers to effectively market to them. So if dili mo magkasinabot, how can you market to them? So language can affect your business. And then user demographics. So in here, knowing who your customers are and what they like is crucial for creating effective marketing strategies. Kasi they are your target markets eh. If you want them to buy your products, so need yun mo ilang gusto. And then buyer behavior. So in here, understanding how people make purchasing decisions helps you to tailor your marketing to their needs. So meaning kailangan nimo i-observe imong mga customers kung paunsa nila unsa yung mga decision nila sa pagpalit para makatabang man to sa imuhang mag-create kag strategy para maano nimo dito ilahang makuha nimo ang mga panginahanglanan pa nila. And then the seventh one is the payment system. So in here, different countries might prefer different ways to pay for things. No, so you have to be flexible with your payment options. So for example, sa China, they are using lahi nilang ginagamit, or sa laing country nagagamit na sila for example, nasa quality app na ginagamit pang pay sa ilang bills. Sa tuwa dali kay GCash naman. So ikaw you have to be flexible para makasabay ka sa kung paunsa sila magbayad, 'di ba? And then in summary, global e-marketing is about using online tools to connect with customers around the world. And to do it effectively, you need to consider things like regulation, infrastructures, and pinaka-importante, customer behavior. And that would be all. Thank you. The next topic will be discussed by my group mate.